meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill, and it is true that from the earliest days of the automotive industry, France as a whole dove in head first. Be they electric, steam, or gas cars, the French of the late 19th century were all over it like, well, let's keep it G-rated and say over it like butter on bread. So it's fair to say that the list of French innovators in the vintage car era is a long one. And one of those innovators on that list is Leon Serpollet. You probably guessed by now that he's a Frenchman. More specifically, born in 1858 in a town called Culose, which is the French equivalent of get lost nowhere. And although Wikipedia may state otherwise, he was in fact amongst the sons of Auguste Serpollet, who was a prominent local blacksmith. Growing up in a smithy, he learned about how to make tools of iron and also a curiosity about machines and engines. As a young man in the 1870s, his fertile mind began to consider the steam engine, and specifically the boiler. He came up with an idea to make steam, even superheated steam, faster than ever. Make a space with a fire in it, put pipes into it, let them all get crazy hot, and then pump water into the pipes. As long as the pipes didn't explode, you got serious steam power, and you got it right now. Thus, as a teenager, he essentially invented the flash tube boiler. After this, he went to Paris and studied engineering while he and his brother Henry, who had been working with him, continued to refine his new boiler. By the mid-1880s, they had a small and efficient boiler to power whatever small portable engine you wanted to. And Leon knew what he wanted to power. Turns out he was born to be a gearhead and decided to put his coke-fired flash boiler into a steam car, specifically a three-wheeler. It hit the road in 1887, and at that time it was the only personal car in the city of Paris. This fact got him some attention, and the following year a certain Armand Peugeot offered a partnership with him to build cars, to which Leon said, "Let's do it!" It is through this partnership that Peugeot displayed steam cars at the Paris 1889 exhibition. But the gas cars were also there, and Armand Peugeot wanted Leon to go into that direction. Leon was a steam man, and so the two parted ways shortly thereafter. But Leon was a very good steam car man and a brilliant engineer, so he was by no means done yet. He found some new money and went into full production of steam cars, and by 1891 had some excellent cars in the offing. 4 wheels, flash boilers, and twin-cylinder compound engines of up to 6 horsepower. At the same time, he expanded his operation to include commercial vehicles for inner-city use, like trams, buses, and even rail cars. But by the time you get to 1898, gas-powered cars were all over the place and were some serious competition. Leon knew that his flash boiler was good, but could not compete with the speed of starting that the internal combustion-powered cars could do. It was at this time that he met an investor from the United States by the name of Frank Gardner. Frank had both money and ideas, and Leon was listening. The idea was simple. If Leon could make a steam car that was as easy to fuel and start as a gas one, he could retake the market. Leon put his engineering mind to the problem and thus invented the gas-fired tube boiler. It isn't really all that different from the flash boiler in principle, but how the heat gets to the water is revolutionary. Liquid fuel, not coal, coke, or wood, maintains the heat. It's easy to regulate. It takes up way less weight and space. And just about every steam car company from then on copied his work in one way or another. Leon led his company to build some great vintage cars that we'll see in some future episodes. His advances in boiler technology influenced many industries beyond cars, ships, trains, and other industrial applications. Leon Serpollet jumped into the automobile industry with both feet. and was absolutely one of the great innovators of the vintage car era. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History. We'll see you next week. Peace.